The Creative Media Industries Institute has been at the forefront of integrating cutting-edge technology into its curriculum, ensuring that students are well prepared for the dynamic world of media and entertainment. Professors at Creative Media Industries Institute in Atlanta, Georgia, James Martin and Max Thomas, have been instrumental in this innovation. Professor James Martin's approach to teaching 3D animation is a testament to how modern tools can revolutionize education. Using Reallusion's iClone software, Martin introduces students, many of whom are first-time animators, to animation through practical real-world production scenarios.
Hello, my name is James Martin, and I am a professor of practice at Georgia State University. The Creative Media Industries Institute is where I've been administering instruction for the last 7 years and focused on real-time animation, motion capture, other virtual production techniques, character design, and most recently, I've started offering a full 16-week course on specifically character animation and all of the things that a new animator or even a seasoned pro can encounter inside of a real-time animation tool like iClone. iClone's a great space for anybody that has an interest in 3D animation to jump in and begin to explore things like scene development, lighting, comprehensive shaders, other things that are more traditional like nonlinear editing, and certainly lots of different keyframing and motion clip animation techniques for facial animation and, of course, overall body animation down to the fingertips. Students are introduced to CMIS 4160 in a way where we approach that through 3 modules. The first module is the game design concept short, where students are encouraged to build their own game design vertical slice cinematic, if you will, and they're free to be creative to explore things like custom character rigs from AccuRig and other sources like Sketchfab or other tools even. And then, of course, Module 2 is introducing crowd simulation. So it is a wide variety of characters and certainly lots of opportunity for large crowds to be simulated inside of games or other potential cinematic scenarios or even short films or animations. Then there's Module 3, which is more focused on the actual creative media industry jobs for motion capture cleanup artists, where students are encouraged to take actual motion capture files that have been recorded utilizing the Xsense Link Suite, an inertia-based motion capture system, and there's interaction between a hero and an enemy character that are then given to students to clean up, much like they may encounter inside of a game studio or maybe in a VFX house that's focused on doing finish work or additional animation for feature films, video games, or other animated content. We have 16 weeks to go over this through the spring and also the fall, and then in the summer, that is a condensed course over 7 weeks. However, we basically approach all students with the syllabus that breaks all of this down. And I can share that to give you a better idea of exactly what that would look like. And essentially, students can quickly become acquainted with lots of ways to begin to get creative with their own stories, their own designs, and other tools that allow them to really have a deep knowledge of character animation and nonlinear editing techniques that can take them into an FBX pipeline where they can be extremely flexible with what tools they use or where they do their finish work, whether that be through something like Unreal Live Link or maybe even a USD pipeline that takes you into a tool like Omniverse. So over the course of 16 weeks, students will get the overview really decide if they're interested in this level of character animation, there's pretty basic course objectives and learning outcomes that will happen with character animation, things like rendering and exporting. We approach face, body, and hands as individual editing techniques, and iClone is a very approachable way to learn how to edit blend shapes or edit bone structures or even hand rigs in a fast and comprehensive way. The crowd simulation and character animation for all of the cleanup tools are also associated with kind of a step-by-step learning the basics first, applying more advanced techniques, and then really kind of moving on to a higher end output. And all of these are meant to produce portfolio pieces for our students. That allows them to really bulk up their demo reels and hopefully land more creative jobs by going through a variety of topics during their time here in 3D animation. And of course, this is broken down into 16 weeks that also has curated tutorials. And this is somewhere that I really love what Reallusion has done with the Reallusion courses site. So it allows us to quickly kind of locate exactly what tutorials we want to focus on a week by week basis. And I know that that's going to have a unified voice and also training that has been both quality assured coming from the creators of the tool. So we're not just pulling random tutorials together. Students are also then quizzed or assessed utilizing our internal learning management tool called iCollege at Georgia State University. And so these techniques are assessed, and their creative endeavors are certainly judged on the merit of the quality. So not introducing things like collision or maybe skating or sliding feet. And then in the middle of the semester, they also are subject to a midterm over the 16-week course and a final exam over the 16-week and the summer course. So you can see this is an example of the condensed version. The 16-week course offers students a little bit more in the ways of additional tutorials and more of a opportunity for other students to get involved and give basically their breakdown of what they feel like will enhance or raise the bar of quality. And so we utilize work in progress pages for that. And then, of course, everybody can kind of have a look at the criteria for each individual module. It's definitely a lot of information for students. So where do we kind of compartmentalize all that? We do that via Discord. It's a great place for students to communicate and also share their work and remain organized throughout the 16 weeks. So this is a kind of breakdown of those 16 weeks and how we approach that with our text channels to be very comprehensive in the ways that students can approach it. They're able to stay organized and definitely also can share their own feedback and have creative, constructive criticism and critiques that are shared in specific areas. So here you can see the first channel is actually our class introductions, and students are encouraged to introduce themselves here, maybe share a picture and a little background, and maybe even some of their previous work. So whether that's 3D modeling, lighting, it can even be 2D or 3D, a variety of different areas for us to kind of focus in and see what students are mostly passionate about, what they're really good at, maybe identify some talent early, and really try to nurture that on an individual level through our time together. Classes are usually about 24 people on a full class, and students can have another source of information to both gain access to the syllabus on iCollege internally and then on Discord as a community tool. And then also each one of the weeks are broken down into specific text channels. So our week 1 is our syllabus overview and intro. Our week 2 is where students begin animating right away. So they're asked to produce 20 seconds of character animation utilizing a stylized avatar. I love the work that comes from Angel Alonso because it's stylized and allows me to add stylized motion to that. And Students seem to understand the assignment right away. And you can see Samuel here has used the Alika character base and is beginning to add some of the pistol motions right away. And so for the general Module 1 game design concept, students are encouraged to explore motions and application and custom cameras to quickly start to develop 20 seconds of animation. So by combining nonlinear editing techniques and then just quickly applying motion clips and basic sort of applications, students by week 2 are already uploading animation right after being introduced to the class. So you get some really nice work right out of the gate, and it allows students to share that. And me as a professor, I can start to look at if they're actually getting the concepts and understanding the tutorial learning materials as well. This is also assessed via iCollege later through quizzes and midterms and final exams, but the actual production work is shared right here on Discord. And so weekly, we can see the progress of students to begin to utilize even additional pipelines such as Unreal Engine or LiveLink, and they can get additional NPCs or enemy avatars inside of the environment where they're doing all their animation very quickly, utilizing AccuRig. And you can see they're blocking their animation and getting all of the motion kind of organized before they even approach that final scene design. This again is happening in real time where other students are allowed to give their input on how they feel the quality overall is. And then in week 4, we're literally in our first submission. So you can see from student Alex Chris how he's utilizing his project Chromafall to deliver module 1 and have a game design concept short animation that's also rendered inside of Unreal. So he's utilizing a path tracing environment, but letting iClone be that driver and really introducing all of the nonlinear editing techniques for facial and body animation right away. So students can really be comfortable in where they're producing their work. And we even encourage the use of AI tools like Adobe Firefly to quickly generate images. And so the concept is also branded by each student. And in this case, a little bit of comedy for Honk Havoc from a student that really had a good time animating her idea of a comedic scenario. So students are encouraged to be creative and certainly get a lot of variety of different styles and different animations that come along with the application of just simple nonlinear editing techniques, introducing high-level character animation. This is one from student Ian Chase called Roof Runner that I think really captures kind of the essence of a parkour game. And if students really enjoy Module 1, they're encouraged to continue with their game designs and maybe even turn it into an actual game because they have that FBX pipeline available to them. In week 5, we introduced crowd sims and things like NavMesh and certainly actor groups were essentially a new feature not long ago introduced inside of iClone. And right away, we were able to implement that into the classroom scenario because myself and other professors will adopt new tools as they are brought to the table inside of the iClone or overall Reallusion ecosystem like Character Creator or AccuRig. So students are able to access those things right away and begin animating and get feedback from other students. And you can see that this one in week 5 is a minimum of 10 seconds by then. But by week 6, you're seeing those work in progress groups really start to flesh out. And in week 7, you're starting to see some final work. This is one of my favorites from Jordan Clark that utilized a full ancient aesthetic. And of course, the avatars and the scene assets go along with that. And students can really kind of color outside the lines to be as creative as they want to be, utilizing different content that is either kit bashed from other sources like Sketchfab, or they can bring in even Quixel assets or other things that they might find in other engines such as Unreal. Students are then introduced to crowd simulation in a way where they can quickly create their own scenarios and utilize all of the powerful new tools that you'll find inside of iClone to generate large scale scenes, many different avatar types and styles, and even animate props or have other actor groups that are populated with custom props. And they get some really interesting results that they're able to lens and utilize virtual camera movement to showcase some of their 3D modeling work or other things that they find fun about character animation. You can see that by week 5 and 7, 8, and 9, you're basically seeing all of this come together very quickly. And then, of course, in the middle of the spring semester, you have spring break. You'll come back in and then be introduced to Module 3, which is a higher level ask of our students for character animation. They're introduced to things like custom profiles. So Xsense has its own profile, allowing MVN to HD process and then export an FBX that can then be added in an FBX scenario to a hero and an enemy. And essentially, as a professor of practice, I like to also showcase work on my own that comes along with utilizing the tool and showing the students that not only are we instructors of the tools, but we're also users of the tools as well. And you can see that this is actually my Module 3 animation, where I've got my hero avatar that is a custom avatar that's been brought through AccuRig that is in a completely custom scene with both the motion capture profile and motion capture data applied to our hero and our enemy. Things like high-end shaders, comprehensive lighting scenarios, even physics can be added into that motion capture, and really digital stories can be told faster and more effectively. And again, students have many opportunities to create a variety of portfolio pieces that can enhance their overall demo reel and hopefully get them jobs in the creative sector. Essentially, students are asked to add their own flavor to each and every one of these individual scenarios, and you can see some really awesome work begins to come around when these work in progress channels are actually utilized, where students can say, hey, that's a great scene, or I really like that avatar or that design. And students that really also go above and beyond can choose to have access to their own motion capture. You can see this one, I think, is a little bit of a homage to the Macarena that some students tested and then recorded on their own. And you can see that final result here inside of Module 3, mocap cleanup. And we're going to go ahead and have a look at what student Alex Chris's final looked like after he was able to mocap that all on his own. So students that really want to go above and beyond have that opportunity to do so inside of 3D animation. And Reallusion tools allow students to have the access to marry high-end technology like inertia-based motion capture suits or optical motion capture systems with custom character rigs, whether that's coming from their own 3D modeling and rigging, or they're bringing that in from additional sources, and then marrying that with really comprehensive scene design. And the results that you get from each student really show different styles and different approaches to all of these different types of character scenarios. And this is something that should prepare students to be ready for creative media and industry work when they are asked to join a creative pipeline, where they might not be able to produce the motion capture or animation on their own, but they're simply asked to clean that up and then pass that on down the pipeline to the vendor or potential other animation team members. You can see that by week 15, students will also receive direct critique and feedback, and each individual project is assessed for the highest level of quality. Probably my favorite from last semester came from Ian Chase, who utilized scan technology. He really built out establishing shots and really nice sort of cinematics to go along with all of the motion capture and custom scene work and characters that Ian was able to produce for Module 3. As you can see, it's a very high quality result, and students are able to do this whether that is their first time inside of a 3D animation tool or they're a seasoned gamer or maybe even possibly their own content creator. And you can see that Mr. Chase was able to pull together some really awesome assets that seem like they're in a world together that belong to a similar aesthetic, and he's able to get that interaction with very precise things like ground and foot contact, and also timing for those hero and enemy motions to go one with the other and really sell the animation overall. It doesn't matter if it's medieval or sci-fi or stylized. Students can really kind of, again, choose to explore things in a creative way inside of the real-time environment. iClone, Character Creator, and AccuRig all allow students to really be creative in their own media. And that's important to us at Georgia State because as an innovative team, we really want to empower our students at every class, every semester, every chance we get. I personally really enjoy teaching this class because it allows for students to really shine for what they want to be passionate about, and Discord's a way that we can all share that together and really make each other better. Even in our last text channel, they're encouraged to study and be together and really raise each other's knowledge base up of all of these tools. To give you an idea of what that looks like inside of iClone, this is my mock Module 1 project that students are introduced to, where I have unapologetically sort of taken the Temple Run scenario and added that into the real-time environment. Again, marrying content from Sketchfab, where I've actually pulled out Beast Boy from Fortnite and brought that into my Jungle Jogger as my enemy. Again, AI tools are used to brand. The real-time animated content creation tool that iClone provides for us gives us a way to approach many comprehensive things without having to wait for renders or waste a lot of time outside of lecture and instruction. You can see that our character bases can be animated and quickly edited for both face and for body, and students have a very easy and general ramp into animating a comprehensive character base, such as our Angel Alonzo Eddie character here. This is default content that every student has available to them at Georgia State University the moment they sit down at a workstation. I have a true passion for teaching and educating students on how they can best tell their stories and be more pervasive digital storytellers. And essentially, iClone and Character Creator give us a very easy way for them to express their own art and their own views at Georgia State University. It's my pleasure and my privilege to be a professor at Georgia State and to teach at the Creative Media Industries Institute. I have many talented colleagues who create complementary curriculum to what we're already creating inside of Georgia State. And we hope to continue to be an innovative team and approach the creative media industry with the workforce of the future trained by the best.
We extend our heartfelt thanks to Professor James Martin and the Creative Media Industries Institute for their insightful partner spotlight and for being an official Reallusion training center. For educators and institutions interested in integrating Reallusion tools into their classroom or computer labs, please visit education.reallusion.com. Discover information on teacher discounts, training, and multi-seat licensing. Schools and institutions can also inquire and qualify for a free semester license for computer labs and classrooms. Thank you for viewing this Reallusion Education Partner Profile.